Hello and welcome. You're watching live stream with me, Natasha Jog. This is the show that we want to listen to your voice. We want to put the big issues, the burning topics of the day to you and want to hear from you what you are thinking. What are your solutions? How would you have done it differently? Tonight, a government plan to involve private companies to maintain India's best-known monuments has landed at the center of a massive controversy over news that the Dalmia Bharat Group has adopted the Red Fort. The opposition accusing the government of trying to commercialize everything, asking why the government can't spare these crores every year on the monument and that the company has agreed to spend over the next 5 years. Well, some historians, of course, have also joined in. The opposition saying that our heritage is being commercialized. The government says, look, it's the ASI that's going to be running it. This is only for management of these monuments. Public-private partnerships, how have they worked in the past? Are they the way forward? And that brings us to our question of the evening. That is what we are asking. In fact, should corporates manage our heritage? That really is at the heart of this issue that we are looking at. I'm going to introduce my panel to you in just a bit, but before that, we've got so many voices that are coming in. We've spoken to people from Chennai, Delhi and Mumbai. Let's go across to Imtiaz now and hear what those with him have to say.
The Red Fort, our Lal Killa, has been handed over to Dalmia Group for 5 years, for next 5 years, for a mere amount of 25 crore rupees. Now let's get over to Mumbaikars. Let's see what they have to say about this privatization of World Heritage Site. We have with us few gentlemen. Hi, can I have your name, sir?
Joshua.
Joshua, what do you feel about this handover to Dalmia Group of this Lal Killa?
See, collectively, I think it's a wise decision. If you see it from one end, because again, if you see the management by government, I don't think it's that efficient or effective enough. So privatizing it, it's a wise decision to some extent. But again, I've heard that they are adding some commercial hub inside the historical monument, which is kind of disturbing a bit, because again, it's like, I mean, you're just...
You mean putting up restaurants or charging more than...
Yes, that is kind of disturbing a bit. But other than that, if you see, it's a wise decision, because obviously government, if you see, they can't manage it as desired, you know.
Okay. So Joshua feel it is a right move. And sir, your name?
Siddesh.
Siddesh, what do you feel about this?
I feel the Archaeological Survey of India is the only authority which should manage these forts, because they are the experts. Dalmia Group is basically a for-profit organization, and it has no business doing this.
Hi, I feel this is the right move. See, our historical monuments are symbol of our past, and it is also our pride. Okay, not maintaining them well is a shameful act, and it is already delayed. But for the last 70 years, we have not been able to maintain them. Okay, but apart from that, I also feel that aesthetics is not the only thing that we need to worry about. Okay. One of the things that we need to worry about is employment. I think privatizing these monuments will increase its aesthetic value and can bring a lot of employment. Again, it can also lead to better tourism. It can also lead to greater revenues in tourism. That can also propel employment. So the fact that we need 20 million jobs on a regular basis, and the government is not able to come up with any solutions. So small things like this can lead to small entrepreneurs setting up stalls there, and that can propel employment. I think it's a very good idea.
Right, and I'm going to get my guess in just a bit, but more voices this time from Chennai. Just let's listen in. Oh, actually, sorry, that's my mistake. I've just been reminded, Director, there. This is Gayatri, who's now joining us from Chennai. Gayatri, hi, if you can hear me. Now, you know, there are people, of course, on both sides of this divide, especially those, perhaps a louder voice, those who are opposing this, and they're accusing the government of commercializing our heritage. Others say that this is a public-private partnership. Why not if it just improves facilities around our monuments? What does Chennai think?
Should the heritage monuments be maintained by the government or the corporate? So, here we have Haripriya and Darshni. Hi. Hi. So, the Red Fort has been maintained by the Dalmia Group. So, what's your view on that?
I think the heritage monuments must be taken over by the private because some of the monuments they lack in the sanitary problems. So I think if it goes to the private, they'll do a good job because I personally feel that the government is lacking due to the money. So that's because they are not able to do a better job if it's with them.
Thank you. So the government has been paid 25 crores for 5 years. So is the corporate doing only for publicity purpose, or what do you think? Uh, First of all, about this adoption, I feel it's a little risky. Since, as you said, I feel they are doing it for the publicity, and it's not sure. They are taking over the Red Fort for 5 years, but it may expand. So anything is not sure. It's not sure. What is going to happen? We don't know. They may maintain the Red Fort much better than before, but still, I feel it's really risky. Since Red Fort is it's a very important monument of our country, so I feel it's very risky to give our one of our main monument to some private company, even though they are very well trained. I feel it's risky. I feel government should come with other ways on plans to maintain our monuments. Thank you. So here we have different views, criticisms, and appreciations. Let's wait for the next move of a government. Thank you, Natasha.
Right. Thanks very much, Gayatri, for bringing us those voices there. Well, our guest, Abhishek Bakshi, digital consultant and contributor at Forbes, is with us. Abhishek, we've been seeing the kind of comments that you've been putting out. Lots of people, of course, would agree. But, to all those, Abhishek, who are saying that what's wrong in bringing the private sector in? I mean, perhaps they'll have a different approach to it. They will succeed, where the government perhaps is lacking. The ASI is overstretched. So, what really is our objection if it works? How would you respond?
Natasha, I'm all for a public-private partnership. It's unless one has a political bias, and we see political strings attached with everything these days. Unless you have a political bias, I think each of us would be divided this decision. Well, of course, you want the monument to be put out nicely. You want more tourism, which obviously affects economy as well. The major concern here is, one, the government has not been clear. The MOU with the company has not been shared. None of the answers that the experts, and I'm no expert, but the experts have asked and raised a lot of questions which have not been answered. A public for a dilapidated monument or a lawn like the Dholakua lawns of Group. Those are successful examples across India. Why people are very emotional about Red Fort is because it's a government of the country. This is the PM of the country stands and unfurls the tricolor every year. While the partnership, if it brings better tourism, if it improves the amenities, the cleaner toilets or better canteen or better facilities, I think no one would have an objection to that.
Okay, let's just go across.
The fear is...
Abhishek, thanks for that. So I'm coming to you in just a bit, but Gurcharan Das, and columnist also with us. Thanks, sir, for your time this evening. Now, we've seen this huge controversy around the Dalmia Group taking the management of the Red Fort. The opposition is quite clear. According to them, this is the government commercializing our heritage. Where do you stand on this debate, sir?
Well, I think I'm completely in favor of giving this opportunity to responsible corporates, and it will be a chance for them to showcase our heritage far better than the Archaeological Society has done. The India's museums are amongst the worst in the world. Even Nepal, with its museum in Patan, is far superior than any museum that we have in India. I think the role of, this is a PPP model,
right,
in which the Archaeological Society should be the regulator, and the companies, through whether it is through corporate social responsibility funds, should be able to get world-class
Right.
help, a world-class talent to improve the quality of our heritage. What
Okay.
we today have is a disgrace, absolute disgrace.
Okay. We've got our first callers coming in. This is Shalabh Sharan who's calling us from Delhi. Shalabh, thanks for calling in. You want to make a point?
Yeah, hi Nidhi. Good evening, viewers. And this is a wonderful initiative by our government, and we must support this initiative because India is a huge, beautiful country, has abundant, the tourism spots and all. I was in Singapore a few months back, and I am sure everybody is aware Singapore is smaller than New Delhi. And Singapore's revenue, earning, and the potential, which it's only happened because of the tourism sector. So now our country, if you go to Bharatpur Bird Sanctuary, it's shocking to see what condition Bird Sanctuary is. In fact, I came back from Singapore last year, and I wrote a detailed letter to the PMO office, giving the entire what is the roadmap for developing our tourism sector. How can we, energize all these old structures which have been lying in shambles. We have a beautiful, seashores, the largest parks in the world. And if you go at the seashores in a very, very bad condition, I was in Kanyakumari last year, and it was shocking to see the way it's being managed.
Okay.
So if we look at the GDP earning of our country, that is one side, and if we just, put all our focus on how to market this various beautiful pictures, locations, the monuments, the various temples and all, and do a proper marketing, take it to across the globe, you would see that our country, whatever debts we are currently, it can all vanish in just about a few years from now. So it's all about how are we going to energize the sector.
Great, I see what you're saying, and you're also saying that you perhaps have had a hand in sealing this. So thanks for that. Before I go across to my guest, this is Atul also calling in from Delhi. Go ahead, Atul.
Good evening, ma'am. Well, I'm quite in agreement with what everyone is saying, that this definitely is the way forward. But there's only one point, which we need to be very careful about. Like Mr. Das said, that none of the Indian sites have got a museum attached to them. You go anywhere across Europe, you'll always find museums, heritage sites reflecting more about the particular monument that you're looking at. We don't have anything of this nature of any quality in India. I just hope that this, step that is taken would focus more towards that, focus more towards the amenities to be provided for the upkeep and glorification of the body, rather than making it into a commercial venture where we have, restaurants and shops and all that kind of thing. So that's not part of the system.
Okay.